Alright guys, here we go, moving on. We have completed putting on the race pipes. We've put on the lowering mounts from BMR, and now we're going to move on to the fuel system. So we have our Fore Innovations triple pump fuel hat. Okay, we're just going to leave it in the plastic for now. Of course, it's got all the nice AN fittings on the top. Power wire for the pumps when we wire it into our controller, which is right here. Got Hobbs switch, so the other two pumps will come on. We'll hook it to a vacuum up front. Believe it or not, even I bought a let's see if I can get it out. I bought a light. I don't know if this is going to work or not. We're going to check it out. So I bought a light. It's a little green light. I was going to have it wired up off of the Hobbs switch. So when I think the Hobbs switch is set at like 5 psi, but I'm going to mount it. I'm thinking about just taking and drilling a small hole. I'll just pop this out, drill a small hole, and just put the light there, so I know that I know when the Hobbs switch has been engaged and all three pumps are running. I think that's my plan, Stan, so we'll see how well that goes. Regulator, fuel pump, of course all the fittings, Y fittings, all that's going to go for fuel rails and whatnot, and the fuel line. Okay, so I guess it comes with maybe 30 feet. Okay. How I'm going to start this project. First and foremost, we're going to go into the trunk. We're going to disconnect the fuel pump controllers in the back. We'll fire it off. We'll let it run. It'll probably run for a quick second, and then stop. And it'll get us the pressure off our lines. And just so you guys can see what we're doing, just used a little trim tool. Popped off a little plastic piece right there. Let's get y'all some light. There's our two controllers that we need to unplug. So we're going to unplug it here and unplug it here. Like I said, we're going to let it run for just a minute, and then we'll be off to the races. I think here's my plan. My plan is to probably take out the driver's seat. I'm definitely going to take out the driver's seat. We're going to take out the driver's seat, take out the rear seat. That way we can access the fuel hat. On the underside of the car, there's I guess you call it a blocking plate, of where the fuel lines are running, and they basically run from the fuel hat kind of off the side of the fuel tank and in that channel, and that's where we're going to run all this. And then once we get up toward the front, we're going to mount our fuel filter. It routes kind of up into the fender well and then up into the engine bay. So yeah, the reason why I decided to go ahead and do this is just, seems like that last piece, while I'm on the ground to get that done. Because I think once I get this done, we'll probably take it off of the wheel cribs, use the wheel stands. We'll probably drain some of the coolant out of it, so that way when we start up top and pulling out the supercharger, putting the Whipple in. So that's where we're at. So stage one, we're going to unplug this. We're going to start it up, and then we're going to start removing the interior. I mean, it's pretty much self-explanatory. I guess I'll still go through it, but obviously we're going to remove the bolts in the front. We got a little cover. Looks like that cover's missing. Okay. I don't know. Maybe that's something I need to be trying to get. So we'll pop off. There's 4 covers, right? So there's covers, 2 in the front, 2 in the back. Pop those out, and then work on getting the rear seat out. I'm running out of room to put this stuff. I guess I might start taking some stuff either to storage or take some of this and put it in the corner pile over here is getting a little crazy. Of course, a little cart with our Whipple. Man, I can't wait to get to that. I'm really saving that for last, to be honest with you, just because the other stuff seemed like it was going to be the more difficult stuff to get knocked out. So, all right, well, let's stop talking. Let's start doing it. All right, so just for those of y'all that don't know, the little yellow clips on the connectors that we're taking off, you're gonna lift up on the connector. Let's see, keep the light there so you guys can see. You're gonna lift up on this connector, all right? See how it pops up? All right, and then it's gonna come off. And then this one here is a little bit tighter in there, so I just took my little trim tool. Let's see if we can get that to work in there. There we go. All right, trim tool, pushed it out, same thing. Pull it all the way out. Still got a little bit further to go. There we go. Set this down. I'm gonna need both hands up there. There we go. All right. So we're both unplugged. All right. Now I'm going to hop in here, start her up, let her run until it dies, and then we'll be moving on. All right, here we are in the car. Let's start and let it run for a second. There we go. That's all she was to it. Kill the power. Now we're going to disconnect the battery and move on to taking out the seat. All right, so here's where we are. So remove the seat, and my little cover that I was missing up here was actually under the seat, so easy peasy. Pull the seat out just so it just gives me, a fat guy, more more room to work around. So the rear seat, super simple. It's got a little clip right here in the front. You just kind of push it toward the back and it'll pop right out. All right, so we got our fuel hat right here. I know there's not a lot of light, guys, but you'll see why I've got it like this. So a fuel hat, put the light there, just so we could look up under and kind of see the direction that we want to run the fuel line down through. And if you see up under here, then we got some light, right? So you can kind of see the path that's going to run. It's going to run right over the top of this fuel tank off to the side, and we'll be able to feed it down. I'm actually going to feed it down from the top. That'd be the easiest way to do it, I think. Feed it from the top, grab it from down here, and stretch it on through. So that's going to be the plan, Stan. Yeah. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically undo my fuel line, tape the ends, maybe tape one of these that's going to be the primary. That way I know which one's going to be the main going in and what's going to be my return. Yeah, maybe I'll just use 2 different colors tape. Hopefully I got 2 different colors tape. If not, I'll get that figured out. Yeah, I've got some green tape right there. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Let's try that. Let's see if we can fish it through from the top and see where that gets us. All right, guys, just like I told you I was going to, I fed it in from the top, left myself more than enough right now. Put some black tape on one of them all the way down. That way, I mean, I can make it that's my return or that's my main line, whatever, but I got one of them marked. I'll cut this one in half, put some tape around that, cut it to make my line. And all the way down. Okay. So that was a cover up under there I need to remove. And used my handy dandy trim tool I was doing. So when it was kind of up there, I used my little trim tool to pull it down. I need to be cutting the ends of it because I've already got my fingers on one of my hands. Getting in a hurry. I should have just cut off the ends of the other one, but I didn't. So I'll move on to that here in a minute. yeah. So as I'm sitting here thinking, I hope I don't get in my way for taking that fuel hat out. I might have jumped ahead of myself. Maybe I don't know. I might just try to take that ring off the fuel hat and see here in just a second. I mean, worst case, I have to run the line back out, but I mean, it's still it was so easy getting it in there. I'm not really worried about it. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see if I can work around that. If not, yeah, we'll redo it. But all right, so here's my plan now. Is I'm probably obviously going to unhook it. I've got a little trim tool. I mean, a little tool to take the ring off to be able to get the fuel hat out. Or I'm going to go ahead and move this right here because there's some screws on the top side that you have to take out in order to get that panel off of the bottom. That's probably what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to do that first. So here we go. All right, so the clips on the bottom are actually these little metal clips right here that came off, and then I had a couple of what was it, T30 screws? Yeah, and a couple of T30 nuts holding on the cover on the bottom. So what I've decided to do is jump in here, unhook the power cable, unhook the fuel line. Got my little special tool here. We're going to take the ring off the top and make sure that this fuel line isn't going to be in the way. It doesn't look like it is. I mean, it looks like it'll be fine. To get the fuel hat out, and then we'll swap over the sending unit to the new one, drop it down in there, and get the ring back in there. Yeah, so that's my plan. I'm gonna get all this ran, then I'm gonna go ahead and hook up the lines, cut the lines, hook them up, the AN fittings, do the filter on the bottom, run the line to about right here. Anyway, this is where it kind of feeds up through the fender and comes up through here. So we're gonna follow whatever path that is, so we'll check that out in a minute. But it might be that we do all the other stuff and then come back and then feed these lines after we can take the tire off, if I have to get the tire off to do it. So that's kind of where we're at. Let's see here. I don't know if there's going to be enough light for you guys to be able to see what I'm trying to do here. I'll just set you up right there for a second. Maybe there's enough light, maybe there isn't. Alright, so got the little tool to fit down in the ring. Now we just got to size it up and then tighten it down. Let's see here. There, it's going to be a good spot. We're going to try it there and there. And just see if that works. So I'm lock it to tighten it up. Arms there. There we go. Now let's see if we can't loosen it up. Go with the old righty tighty lefty loosey. Let's see if we can kind of see how it needs to turn. Okay, there we go. Fuel hat is off. The ring is off anyway. That worked pretty good. Get that out of there. Probably not, right? But we can hope. All right, let's push that out of the way. Look at these. Trying to see what I think it is. It's spun out of the way, but. Trying to get this out. I'm not making too much of a mess. Still got one down on the bottom. Trying to pour this out. Just a little bit. Oh, there's just a little bit inside the hat, and I'm trying to. All right. So that gets in there. No. Okay. I don't have a ton of fuel down in the bottom of it. I might go ahead and pump that out. Alright guys, well, we got it out. I'm probably going to take some of this fuel out of it. I had less than a quarter of a tank. That way, try to keep me from making a mess, if that's possible. But, okie dokie, there we are. Alright, so we got the new fuel hat put together. Sending unit put on there. Okay. Set that right there. Had to call and get clarification if both of these lines were supposed to get hooked back up or not. And this is what I was told was yes. So we are going to get this open back up, feed this bad boy back down in there, get these lines hooked up, and bada bing bada boom. Okay, so get myself some light here. Let me grab my headlamp too. Extra light if I need it. Let's get these out of the way. Set it there. So there were two lines that were plugged up, and I called them lethal because I wasn't sure. I knew one, but I wasn't sure about the other one. And Now I'm gonna fish around here and find it. There it is. So, oh shit. So both of these lines are gonna have to be hooked back up to the new fuel hat. Now I just gotta find that other one again. One. The other one. You're kidding me. No, I can't find it. There it is. Okay, shit. Alright, so one is the smaller, and then this is, okay. So I got both of them here. Let's see if we can get them hooked up and get this fuel head back down in there. Okay, so there's that one. Okay, so that one's pushed in there. Now, I gotta get this other one down there, and gotta get this sending unit. I might have done that too quickly. I bet you I need to get the sending unit down in there a little bit, and then connect that line. Pick again. Can't really see. This video probably won't turn out too well either, but we're doing the best we can. So. Trying to be careful of that damn sending unit there. Okay, there we go. So, alright, let's try to figure this bad boy out. So, okay. So we got the sending unit. Here a little bit. Okay, so let's try to do the small one first. Okay, got that one on. Let's go for the big one. Pull them out. Okay. Alright. So now, all these connectors are going down in there. Okay. All right. Okay. There's our fuel pump. Okay, guys. She's down in there. Now we just got to get our locking ring back on there, and take this off. cut those down. Alright, let's try to get our ring on there. Let's just start with getting it into position. Alright, so now put that all of it down in there. Okay. Alright. Let's go from here. Alright, so now I just got to get it locked into place again. So what I'm trying to do is loosen up the leg here so we can get it adjusted back into the groove again. Okay, so got that one in there. Okay, got that one in there. Tighten this back up. Okay. Looks like we're in. Alright, so we got the tool back over there. And from the top, you can see the ring is all locked back into place. Alright, won't be using that line anymore. Just keep that out of the way. We'll be connecting those other two lines. One be in the feed, one be in the return. And the instruction will say, this right here says return. There's the feed. So we'll, like I said, we'll decide which one of these lines is going to be which. We will get them turned in the direction that we want them, and cut them down and make all the fittings and all that good stuff, and make our connection. So that's where we're at. Now we got all that buttoned up. We'll move on to the next thing. Guys, alright guys, we'll give you a quick update. We've connected our feed and our return line, and the fittings aren't tight yet. I haven't tightened them down yet, but you can kind of see I got it wrapped around that way, going for the feed, going wrapping around this way for the return. Of course, this will be all of our power wires for the 3 pumps that are on there, and then this right here will be for the sending unit when we get that far, and we'll tap into that into the factory harness here. Okay, so yeah, so really and truly I can run this through the hat. Well, no, I can't. I need to tighten these down, tighten these AN fittings down. And before I completely button it up, I guess I better be double checking that this thing doesn't leak, right? So yeah, so I'll probably just leave it apart. That way we can pressurize the system and just double check and make sure we don't have any leaks or anything before buttoning it all up. So here's what I want to do. I'm going to continue to run the line. I'm going to get up under the car. I'm going to go ahead and tie in the stainless steel filter. Here we go. So yeah, we'll add the one line there. We got one there. We'll go ahead and put that in there. We'll probably go ahead and zip tie up the lines there again. I won't put the cover back on until I've had an opportunity to fire everything up and it's ready to go. I might end up making a trip over to the storage building and just put some of these pieces in there that I'm not going to be messing with until it's time to completely button it up. So we'll just get them out of the way and won't have to worry about them falling or accidentally getting damaged. So that's where we're at the moment. We'll go ahead and put in the fuel filter. I'm going to see if I can run it up through the fender well. There's a it's basically right here in this plastic piece right here, whether or not you guys can see it or not. Let's see. Sorry guys, I got most of my light in here. Here, let's use this light real quick. So we'll put it in the filter, and then there's a little plastic piece there toward the back is where the fuel line is currently running up to, running through. So like I said, I'll probably get it up to about right there, and then stop. That way when I get the car back down, if I need to, I can take the wheel off and get in there and fish it up where it needs to be, up here. And then once we get this thing down, we're going to go ahead and drain some of the coolant out. No, I'm not. Shoot, I'm getting ahead of myself. Yeah, once we get that fed, then we need to go do all the power wire and get all that ran over there, down the passenger side, which that seems to be simple enough. We are, so I've already got the interior pulled out. This panel right here, I'll have to finish getting this pulled out. I saw in Lethal's video that they put their control module there behind that panel, and looks like a good spot for me. So I'm gonna copy those guys and do the same thing. I don't think that I would want to mount it under that seat, you know, I mean, under the row seat. I mean, I guess you could, but yeah, I'm not gonna do that. So I'm gonna remove that panel up there, and then we'll see how much room we got back there. I actually went and got some panel removal deals because as I was pulling off the bottom part of it, I saw one in there that I knew was going to be a pain if I didn't have the tool. So I had some, which, you know, who knows, a million years ago, but I couldn't find them. So it was just easier to go do that. And I needed to go buy a cutter anyway to cut these lines, these braided lines. All right, so that's where we're at. We'll give you an update once we get a little bit further. Okay, so we have added the inline fuel filter. Of course, the flow going toward the front of the car. We've already marked the line. That was going to be our feed line. And let me get under here and kind of show you guys what's going on. So, new line is being fed there, all the way down through here. This is that cover that I'm telling you about. So this cover right here, this shield, is going to go back up here, okay? Then it'll cover all this up. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the, sorry guys, we're going to take the fuel filter right here and we'll zip tie it, flip it out of the way, okay? And then we'll throw some zip ties in this, but the cover is going to be over this, so you're not going to be able to see any of this, okay? So it's going to bolt all back up there, and it'll all be up under that cover. And then it'll make it easier for us when we want to service the service the fuel filter here. We'll take that cover off and do that. Of course, right there's the old one. All right, of course we're not using any of those lines anymore, so that's not do us any good. We'll just have to take the cover off, and I'll leave enough room or enough line, you know what I'm saying, to be able to for this to droop down a little bit, you know what I'm saying, so we can get a wrench on there and get a wrench on there and be able to pull that filter out for when we're running the 85. So there we go. That's where we're at. I need to go figure out what I did with all of my zip ties. Once I get the zip ties, I'm going to feed it into the fender a little bit, and then like I said, we'll probably stop with running the lines right there, because the rest of it, you know, I'm going to run through this fender and up through here, and so I'll probably stop there, and then continue with running all the power wire, the controller, hobs, switch, all that stuff. Yeah, so that's where we're at, and I'll give you an update when we get a little bit further. All right, guys, so we're getting in here trying to do some more of this wiring, and just kind of give you a snapshot of where I'm at. I mean, the lighting in this thing is horrible, but on this side, let's start over here. I'll show more. So I decided to mount my box right here on the side. Sorry, that flashing. I think maybe the battery's going dead. Let's see if we can go a little bit less. There we go. Oh, maybe not. There we go. So I decided to mount my box here, and the reason why is it fit right behind the panel without having to modify any of the insulation or the styrofoam on the panel. Plus, I thought, hey, if I ever needed to get access to it, rather than having to pull the whole panel out, literally I could just kind of pull it out from the side there and be able to access all the wires. Plus, all your wiring, you know, as you're kind of tracking down through this loom here, and coming from the fuel hat, it just, I mean, it's just creating a really short run, and obviously giving you possibility of less issues. Right now, I just got the panel up there with some Velcro tape, just because I was kind of setting it up there, getting it where I wanted it first. I'll put a couple set screws in there. I'll be honest with you, that's pretty doggone sturdy. I really have to yank that to get that off of there, but I'll probably still put a screw in that. Nonetheless, it's working fine. So now let's go over here. I try to get a bigger light in here to get better lighting, but this is just going to be what it's going to be. All right, so we have our 3 pumps and our 2 wires for our sending unit, and you notice right there it comes with the butt connectors already. So I mean, they make that simple for you. On the plug that was going into the original fuel hat, you'll notice that the 2 smallest wires on here, like the thinnest gauge wires, are that green. I think it's green and, let's see if I can see, green and blue, and then a yellow and violet, maybe yellow and purple. It could be brown, guys, but anyway, just know that it's the 2 smallest wires and gauge wires. Those are going to go to your sending, okay? And then you've got your yellow trigger wire right here, which will be yellow with a gray stripe, okay? And that's going to be your trigger wire. So trigger wire is we're going to snip these 3 off, and we'll tie 2 of them to the fuel sending unit, okay? And then I'm going to run a wire from here, run it down the loom, and then it'll actually wire into the box over here. And then I've already got all my power wire ran through the firewall, and I got that ran the way that I want it. This is the wire for the hob switch. So yeah, I'm still kind of deciding there what I'm going to do with the hob switch. I'm going to wire it in, and if for some reason I decide not to use it, I think all I'm doing is I think I just do a jumper. I have to look at the schematic again, I can't remember, but I got the hob switch for now, and then I've got a little green light that I'm going to put in the dash. That way once the hop switch is activated, the little green light will come on. You know, I know a lot of people don't like running the hop switch just because they're not certain if it's activated, or maybe there's a problem with the hop switch or whatever. I'm gonna run it just because I just thought, like, if I'm just driving it day to day, if I go a little bit further, you know, maybe I'll want that. So my plan is get this wired up. I'll do some I think probably what I'll do is once it's all done, because I mean, you guys don't need to see me wiring this stupid thing, but once I've got it all ran and tidied up, zip tied up, and into the box, I will show you guys a picture of that, just so you can see, you know, how it's wired up. But pretty simple. I mean, we're going to get to cutting, snipping, wire tying all this together, and running everything. I did think I'm going to change this. I'm going to show you guys this. I think I'm going to change the way that the lines are ran. Originally, because the wires were on this side, I ran the lines in and kind of wrapped them around. But I don't know if that might cause problems, you know, later on down the line. Right here, I mean, it's not like a severe bend or anything. But anyway, here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen these up. I'm going to run them to where, spin these around, tighten them back up on this side. And then that way they're essentially just running straight. There's no bend, and yeah, I'll do that. I've got another wrench just to make sure that these are all tight. I've gotten most of them tight through all of it, but I mean, you know, before we test all this, I mean, I'm gonna go back and just double check everything and make sure I got everything right. But that's kind of where we're at. I'll give you guys an update as soon as I get a little bit further. All right, guys, thought I'd show you where we're at. So we got it all wired up. Don't have the sending unit wired up. I got the little ends right here. I just didn't. I was running the wires over. So we've got all the wires running along the loom, all zip tied, looking real nice and neat. All right, you're gonna notice that little wad of wires right there. I left the length of wire. That way, if I decide to move it, or if I don't like where it's sitting, I can always move it, and I've got a little bit of extra wire. You see, we got everything running up to the box. Okay, and I'll hop over there here in just a second and kind of go over the wiring, which I might be able to do from here. Let's see. All right. So right there where the yellow is going in, and yellow and black, that's going to be our trigger wire, and then the one side of our hob switch. Okay, and then on the other side, right I'm sorry, on this side right here, guys, where you see the green and black wire, that's for the secondary pumps to kick in. And you're going to see the black wire, which is the other side of the hob switch. The green wire is a wire that's going to go to that green LED that I'm going to have in the dash. That's just going to come on once the once the hob switch has power. Okay, so just to let me know it's running. And then of course we got pump 1, 2, and 3 all wired in. Use nice little wire ferrules. Try to keep it, you know, somewhat clean. Like I said, I have just a 2-way tape up there, so it's just kind of hanging there. We're going to put a couple of sheet metal screws to hold that in place. And then obviously once the panel is in there, be out of sight, out of mind. And then I just need to clean out a spot, probably right here. I think that's where the seat belt, the rear shoulder strap was. So I'm going to actually take that bolt out, clean up the metal right there, and I will probably I'll probably put the ground right there. I'll try to fit it up under there if that'll work. If not, I'll find another spot to be able to do the ground. But either way, we'll have it right to the chassis, get it to bare metal, so we got a good ground there. I'll tell you what, I'll take you guys over here on the other side real quick. Let's see. So as you can kind of see, all the wires running along. We've got, grab this light. I've got the green wire just kind of sitting there that'll go behind the dash. Like I said, I'm going to take I got a small LED green LED that I'm going to put there. I'm going to trigger that LED before we'll get it all hooked up, just to make sure that that works. Ran the wire through here. We drilled a hole in the firewall, and then used a grommet through the firewall. And basically how I did that, and this is actually sitting on a jack stand, guys. This isn't sitting on that wheel. Had that sitting there. You can kind of see where it's coming through the firewall, and then going back up into on the other side of where the battery mount is, right there. And once we get all the battery box and all that mounted back in there, we'll wire all that up. Okay, so we're pretty much done on the wiring side of the fuel system. Really the only thing I have left to do is come over here on this side, get into the firewall. I might even have to. I might be able to feed the fuel line through. I haven't really looked at it, but basically the fuel line is going to run up through the fender well and out through the top. And then once I've got the fuel line running out of the top here, I'm going to stop. I'm probably really going to stop now. I mean, I don't necessarily have to have that fed through there to be able to continue going. Now it's really time to get off all that and start taking the supercharger off. So what I will probably do is, once I've finished kind of buttoning up what I'm doing now, is I will take it off of these wheel cribs. Well, you know what? I'll probably actually drain the coolant. I'll drain the coolant and then take it off the wheel cribs and just start on the top. My plan is to take off a couple of days next week to try to get all this buttoned up and done. I've just been really covered up at work, and then trying to come home and just do a few minutes a night, you know. And then listen, I'm not doing it every night, you know. Last night I took the family to the movies, you know. So it's coming along as fast as it's coming along. I mean, it's gonna happen. But yeah, I just thought if I took those 2 days off and just kind of devote to knocking it out, I could knock it out and be done with it. So I'm really happy with the way that it's coming out. Yeah, I think that it's going to be nice. Hopefully this helps somebody out when trying to do theirs. If you guys want to do put in that triple pump return style fuel system in your GT500. This is the Fore Innovations. Obviously, you know, I know Lethal is selling that Division X deal. I got mine through Palm Beach Dyno. Not quite the same, but pretty close. I will tell you about the Fore Innovations. I really like that the fuel hat was already put all together. You didn't have to do anything really. One thing you really had to do was just swap over the sending unit in that one. And I also like, I like how all of it wires up. I mean, it just you can't get any more simple than that. And everything that you need comes right there in the kit. So really nice. Originally, I was thinking about taking and putting the box and putting it in the trunk, but you know, it just makes the wires that much longer, having to trace everything back. But finalizing it right there, and I'll be honest with you, I got that idea from watching the video of Lethal Performance putting in theirs, that Division X deal in their GT500, and so watching that video actually was a lot of help as well. Just in trying to get an idea of how to route everything, and you know, just kind of give you that general direction, even though it's a little bit different, you know. So that's kind of where we're at, guys. I mean, that's pretty much done, with the exception of finishing running that fuel line into the engine bay here, and then once we go to tie it all in to the fuel rails and all that, I'll continue on that video. But obviously, you know, once we get that far, the Whipple will be on, so we'll tie it all back in together and get all this put back together. So until next time, guys, this is where we're at.